Well, everyone, welcome to the Level 1 Podcast Part 2. If you can believe it, amongst all the other issues that I'm already having technical-wise with my internet, now my microphone malfunctioned, and I had to restart the entire setup, but now it's working. Sorry about that. What I was saying, I was having a news story about Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 has sold 2.47 million copies as of the end of September, okay? This is good news because it's exceeded over 1 million extra copies from its predecessor, Street Fighter 5, in the same time frame. That's a good sign. But what I was saying is the honeymoon phase has kind of ended. A lot of players still playing the game are saying that there's things that they feel are issues that they want fixed. For example, a lot of dropped inputs online and other issues. In addition, one of the things is most of those copies, like 2 million, sold within the first month. And then the other 500,000 have sold gradually over the last, 3 months. So, I mean, it's good news, but also it is news that, wow, the sales have dramatically slowed down. Will they continue to go, and will this game sell more and more? I think didn't they not say that Street Fighter V, by the end of its life cycle, sold something like 5 million copies, which is pretty nuts. But that was a 7-year run, right? So will Street Fighter 6 have that level of success is a good question. Now, something else going on, okay? While Capcom was releasing kind of these numbers, Capcom actually talked about overall what its most successful franchises of all time are. Are you ready for this? So, Resident Evil is the top-selling franchise that Capcom has ever sold. 150 million total copies of Resident Evil sold over the life of that IP. Second place, Monster Hunter, which sold 95 million copies. Third place is Street Fighter, with 52 million copies. Fourth place, Mega Man, with 41 million copies. I guess that also includes Rockman, because it's the same franchise. Fifth place, Devil May Cry, with 30 million copies. And then coming in sixth place, and this is kind of weird, Dragon's Dogma, at 7.9 million copies, which is only one game. They only had one and one expansion, right? That's it. So, that's kind of weird that the sixth most popular franchise that Capcom ever sold was Dragon's Dogma. You know one that throws me for a loop? Where's Dead Rising? So Dead Rising, among all of its different iterations, there's 4 games, didn't even sell 7.9 million total copies. That's crazy. I thought Dead Rising was way more popular than that. I guess I was wrong, right? Unless these sales numbers are misleading, because this is what Capcom reported along with their story about Street Fighter 6. So, weird, I guess. It is kind of weird. Anyway, last news story for today, and then what we're going to do is shout-outs and just chill and see what happens with this tech support. Any of you remember a little game called Disney Dreamlight Valley? Perhaps some of you remember that game, right? It's a game that I played last year. It was actually free to play. Was it on Game Pass? It was Game Pass, right? A Game Pass game as early access. So you either had to buy the game early access, or you could get it on Game Pass in a limited version. I played Disney Dreamlight Valley for what, like a month on and off as a chill game. It was a fun sim game, okay? It was a fun sim game for sure, but it absolutely was limited. It was incomplete. And once you got to a certain level of the game was an insane grind. And what I mean by that is you had to play it every day, doing all like the daily tasks and things in order to actually have it work, essentially, right? Hold on. Nothing, by the way, this is nothing bad. I'm just checking. Here it is. Yep. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Disney Dreamlight Valley became an insane grind. You had to play it like every day, and you had to do all the daily tasks, and if you didn't, you basically couldn't earn the currency in the game to do anything. You couldn't just play Disney Dreamlight Valley casually. It wasn't a game that you could play once a week or a couple hours at a time and then drop it and then come back. It definitely required you to do like daily gameplay. Now the problem with that is it's a console game. It's not a mobile game that you could just open your phone and do daily checklist stuff and then close it again. It's something you got to sit down, you got to boot up your console, you got to play it like a regular game, right? So it's kind of silly because it just didn't seem, to me anyway, like they knew what they wanted the game to be. It felt like they designed it to be a mobile game, right? But then it definitely wasn't. Well, it's been a freaking year. And I guess they've done content updates and expansions. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, this game will actually launch on December 5th. It will leave the early access stage and become a full-fledged game. But here's the weird part about it. You ready for this? You have to buy it. It's not a free-to-play game like everyone thought it would be. It's not. You have to buy the game. They're offering 4 different editions. They're offering Standard, Cozy, Gold, and Expansion Pass. Only one of them is actually getting a physical release. It's called Cozy Edition. And they're going to put it on a disc. And what it basically is, it's the base game with a bunch of extra expansion content, including those moonstones you used to buy things. A cottage, a companion, a sweater, some posters, you know, some in-game items, right? The Gold Edition is essentially that version plus even more extra stuff. And then there's the expansion. You might say, well, what's the expansion? It's called A Rift in Time. It's supposed to be another story plus a few new characters added to the game. And the expansion is for people who've already owned the game or had it on Game Pass all along. And now they want to continue to play the game with new content, right? You can still play the old game with all the old content, but you probably did everything by now. So how does it work? Standard Edition is $40. Cozy Edition, which is the physical edition on a disc plus some extra digital content, is $50. The Gold Edition, which is the one that includes a ton of extra content, but it's all digital only, that's $70. Okay? And then there's A Rift in Time, which is just the expansion pass for people who already own the previous game. That's $30. So pick your poison. $40 for the standard game, $50 for the disc edition, $70 if you want all the content all at once, or $30 if you already own your old edition and just want the expansion content. So I'll be honest with all of you, all right? When I first started playing the game, I thought, oh, it's Disney's Animal Crossing, right? Like, that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like Disney's Animal Crossing. So it was entertaining. It was fun for a while. And then what ended up happening, like I said, it became such a grind to even have any kind of progress in the game. It became unfun. It became, this is more of a chore, this is more of a work, right, than anything else. I don't want to have to work to play a video game. And that's actually what it felt like after a while. So that's why I dropped it. I played it for, about a month? And I was really enjoying it. And I got tired of, this is not, I want to enjoy a video game. I don't want to work to play it. So I dropped it. And I never went back to it. I can't imagine people who've been playing this thing for over a year, right? Can you imagine playing the game over a year and every day you have to do this daily grind to get the currency so you keep playing it? So here's the thing. If you like Animal Crossing and you like Disney and you want a combination of the two, it's kind of like that, only it does have some interesting story too. Like, Animal Crossing really doesn't have a story. It's just build a virtual, island or village and then maintain that with all the townspeople. In this game, there's actually legit story. And it could take upwards of 20 plus hours of playing this game to actually unlock all of the story elements. But for me, it just doesn't seem very good. I don't think the value is there. I think at one point everyone's going to hit the wall and be like, man, I don't want to sit here grinding endlessly to play this game. So, up to you if you want to give it a shot or not. But finally, it's full release on December 5th, and then you can play what they're considering the actual full game. Okay? All right. So that's DSP News. Hold on one second because I got to blow my nose, and then we're going to do shout-outs, and then we're just going to chill. Right now, I have not been contacted by Comcast, so I'm just waiting on the tech now. Okay. All right, so what's the window for the tech to arrive? Any minute. But you know how these places work. Oh, they could be there at exactly noon, or they could be there at 2, or they could be there at any point between those two, and you don't know when they're going to show up. And that's the problem. Like, it really depends on probably what their previous jobs are, right? Like, this tech could have had 4 other jobs this morning, and depending on how long those jobs take, depends on how early they can get here, that it all affects it. So, I've heard nothing yet, so, it is what it is. I just told you. Oh my God. So they didn't give you a time frame. Did I not just say they could show up at 12, or they could show up at 2, or they could show up anytime in between? So what's the time frame? Next week. That's the time frame. Anyway. All right. So ladies and gents, let's do some shout outs, shall we? So we start off today with Nyanner Thief, which is a spin-off of what we were doing in Mario the other day. It's funny. They did a $2 super chat that says, flush your DNS again. It should work. So here's the thing. The other night we tried everything. 2.5 hours of troubleshooting. We tried refreshing and renewing, flushing, and doing manual DNS settings. Nothing got my internet to consistently work at all. All right? What this person is saying is, it's reported that Comcast was having DNS issues back on Wednesday, but you were trying to flush your DNS during the time they were having the issues. They fixed the issue, so if you flush your DNS now it should work. Right. I don't believe that. Yesterday, I unplugged my modem downstairs in the living room for over 3 hours, which totally should refresh everything in the modem, correct? Like, literally, it should give everything new. If it's unplugged for 3 hours, it should start over. Plugged it back in, still doesn't work. Still can't do anything, on that modem. So I don't think that it's as simple as what you think, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'm no tech guy when it comes to this stuff. This is the first time I even knew about DNS ever. Like, I'm serious, I didn't even know about it until Wednesday. And now I kind of understand it. So it is what it is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't think that flushing and redoing and this stuff is gonna fix anything, honestly. Plus I don't want to mess with that. When I'm online now and I'm doing my show, I don't want to mess with settings in the middle of a stream. You know what I mean? Right now I have my laptop working with this 4G backup device, so I'm just gonna keep it going. All right. Luthace did a super chat. Says, did you go to the Comcast business website to check your service status? No, absolutely not. I totally didn't log into the site. I totally didn't call them, talk to them on the phone. They didn't check for me. I totally don't have a tech coming out. Arrow Hero did a super chat. He says, Alan Wake. He hits you with his flashlight. Actually, it's Alan Wake. He hit you with his flashlight and talks about his giant snake because he's Alan Wake. There you go. Very nice. I want to play it. I'm dying to play it. I wish I could play it. But again, there's no point in starting the game when I know this tech is coming out here within the next couple of hours and we're going to be interrupted. What's the point of playing for 20 minutes to be interrupted? Fuck it. We'll just wait, right? Thank you, Arrow Hero. Parasolo, re-upped their membership for 29 months and says, crossing my fingers, your internet gets fixed. Thank you to Parasolo. Genesis Gaming re-upped their membership for 20 months and says, 20 months, everyone sing along. Alan Wake. We already did that. Thank you, Genesis Gaming. And then Golden Nobles did a super chat and says, this is a true horror story. See, here's the thing. It's not horror. It's just, it's stress. And quite frankly, I got enough stress in my life. It's like we've been talking about recently, right? People say things like, so Phil, do you like pranks? Do you like watching prank videos? Do you like roller coasters? Do you like thrill seeking? And my answer is no. Why? Because if you're someone who already leads a stressful life, right? You already have things in your life that stress you out on a frequent basis. You don't need more stress. You don't actively go out there and seek more stress. You try to avoid as much stress in your life as possible, all right? I've got a stressful life. I've got things going on in my life that are incredibly stressful, that are private, that you guys don't know about. And they have affected me in a big way this year. And, you know, it takes a lot out of you to have things going on in your life that are stressful and behind the scenes, and you can't even talk to your audience about it, or I can't, because as I told you guys, as much as I would like to share with you stuff about my life, I can't, because of this element of these scumbags who do awful things to harass me, right? So I have to essentially keep things to myself. So I've got a very stressful life as is. The last thing that I need on top of the stress I have is to cause myself more artificial stress, right? So that's why I just don't like this stuff that people talk about. I think it's crazy. Oh, you like, I'm going to go on a roller coaster. No, I'm not. I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to go skydiving. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do anything to cause myself scares or stress. I've had enough. I'm at my wit's end as it is. What I need is relaxation. I need to have a nice day off where I can just fucking sit back and relax. And you want to know what day that is? For me, the most relaxing day of the year for me, Phil Burnell, is Christmas Day. Because on Christmas Day, I don't put out any content. I don't have to work. I don't have to do errands. I can literally just stay home and relax with my family. And typically, Kat makes a really nice dinner for us. Sometimes a breakfast or both. And we have a nice day of, you know, presents and watching stuff together and just, you know, sometimes drinking, which is nice. It's a nice day. It's literally my best day in the year is Christmas Day. It's the only day a year that I can do that. I'm not kidding you. Every day I am either working by streaming, uploading, recording, or I have responsibilities of things I need to do on my day off, which is just a day off from streaming. It's not a day off from life or work. It's just a day off from streaming. I don't have a single day where it's just, today's my day to relax and unplug. I don't have an unplug day. It doesn't exist. You know, it's always work. Everywhere I go, every direction I turn, that's my life. Right? So, yeah. That's why I like Christmas. And that's why I stay off of stressful things. I don't want anything to do with that shit, you know? So, is this true horror? It's not horror. It's just more stress that I don't need. You know, there's really no reason for this to be happening. It's obviously something, I didn't do anything wrong. It's some dumb thing happening with my ISP that doesn't make any sense. It needs to be resolved. We need to have a way to prevent it from happening again. And it's very, very frustrating that it's affecting us on a day. This would have been one of the biggest release days of the year for me, for sure. Alan Wake 2, 13 years in the making, an actual new horror game that everyone wants to see, including me, and the reviewers are saying it's ridiculously good. Wow. You want to talk about a home run, hit it on all cylinders, get excited, and now I can't even tell you today when we're playing it. I can't even promise you what time we're starting. I don't have no idea. That sucks. Okay. Some tips. I got a $1 tip from someone saying, before you watch a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, you should read the IGN review and see what you think. Yeah, I don't know. All I've heard, all right, is that it's not good. Essentially, for what I'm to understand, the movie, which they're trying to set up to be a horror movie, isn't scary at all. All it is a bunch of weird lore. Which I guess, if you're a fan of the Five Nights games, I guess the fan base are really all about the lore. Like, this is what they're into when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's. The lore of the animatronics and how they're haunted and things like that. And the lore between the different locations and things. But the movie itself apparently has zero blood. It has no actual real, like, scary scenes. Whatever I'm supposed to say, you know? Could it be that this is a movie 100% for those who are just hardcore fans of the series and it won't appeal to anyone else? Is it a thing that there's just, you know what I mean? Like, if you play original Five Nights at Freddy's, there's no gore in that either. It's just jump scares. And I hate it. I'll just be honest. I think it's awful. I don't think the original Five Nights at Freddy's games are good in any way. It's really bad. But there's tons of people who love it, right? So, there you go. I don't know. Anyway, I got a $3 tip from an anonymous tipper saying, now that the first volume of the Master Collection is out, how about a re-redemption run of that Metal Gear Solid games? We've already talked about this, that I'm not opposed to replaying them. First of all, there's no way I'm replaying 3 because 3 is being remade as a real game called, what is it, Delta? So there's absolutely no reason to replay the third one when a new version will be out probably next year, it looks like, right? Maybe? The one that obviously I would replay again first would be 1. Because 1, I haven't played in ages. We played 2 a few years ago, if you remember correctly. And then we actually watched, and I reacted to the original This Is How You Don't Play as well. So, my nose is itching me today. It's bothering me. So, yeah, we've had, basically, a lot of Metal Gear stuff in the last few years or several years. But the one I haven't played in the longest is Metal Gear Solid 1. That's a PS1 version, and I've only played it, the once, I think? I want to say I only played it once. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I only played it once. So to play it again today would be interesting, but this collection, it's not an upgrade. There's no visual upgrades, no control upgrades, nothing. It's literally just, Metal Gear Solid 1, PS1 version plays on your PS5. That's it. So, would I consider it? Yes, for downtime. When will the next downtime be? I literally have no idea. I have no clue when we will have downtime again. First of all, let's get the internet up and running. That's number 1. But number 2, with all the new releases I'm juggling, the more new releases coming out in November, the games I've already skipped that people want to see me play, all this stuff, right? So, it's a consideration, but it's not a focus. Let's put it that way. Okay? All right, so far today, that's all I've got. All right? If you guys contribute, I will shout it out. Understand, guys, that once the tech shows up, then this stream is going to go down probably for a while. It's probably not going to be a quick fix situation. It's probably going to be a situation where me and the tech are sitting here and we are troubleshooting and we're doing all this stuff. So let's see what happens. But that's the stream. So if you contribute, thank you in advance. Outside of that, this is a portion of the podcast where we just kind of kill some time. And if you guys have questions or topics you want to talk about, please tag me in the chat. Fair enough. Comment Frenzy says, if you're sharing the same lines with residential customers, what's the advantage of having business class lines? You should get back at Comcast by negotiating a different plan. All right. First of all, am I using the exact same internet lines as everyone else? Yes. So does everyone. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think you understand internet if you're asking that question. When you go to your local store, your retail store, do you think they magically have a special internet line that goes to their building? No, it's the same lines as everyone else. It comes off the same poles. Okay? The difference between a business account and a standard account is usually twofold. The speed and limits. Most residential customers have locked speeds at very low speeds, and they have limits on how much they can use. They actually have data caps, all right? Once they use data up to a certain point, they will get, what's the word? Basically, they get a limit to the speed they can get. So they'll get a speed, and then when they use like a certain amount of gigs of streaming, oops, now you get slower. I forget what it's called. Tethered? Is it speed tethering? Is that the term for it now? Throttling. That's the real term for it. Speed throttling. That's correct. All right? So if you're a standard residential customer, you have speed limits and speed throttles. Okay? But that's why you pay what you pay. You're only paying a certain amount a month for that internet. Now, for me, since I have the business plan, all right, the business plan allows me to have faster speeds than everyone else and allows me to have unlimited internet use. There's never a time when Comcast contacts me and says, oh, hey, just so you know, you've reached a limit and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't happen. All right? It's a situation where I can do as much as I need to because it's my business. It's unlimited. Okay? Now, my speeds, much faster than what everyone else has around here. It's not the fastest available. There is actually a level above what I'm using, but I don't need that. Like, for the speeds that I have are actually good enough or more than good enough for everything that I need to do here on, for my streaming and my uploading. You know, maybe one day if I want to upgrade my quality even further. Right now, I am broadcasting at around 13,000 kilobits per second. But maybe one day I want to upgrade that. Maybe one day I want to actually go full 4K, which would be wild because, man, that's an upgrade. Then I would probably want to upgrade to the next tier. And actually, interestingly enough, through my discussions with techs that I've had from Comcast this year who've come out here for various reasons, apparently in the next 2 years, Comcast is looking to upgrade their service to actually be better. And when that happens, all business customers will obviously be offered, would you like the better service? Now, the question is, if they do roll this out, what's the speed? Because it was basically, a lot of people ask me, what about fiber, or not fiber optic, what is it, the one that they have only in like special universities and things like that? I forget what it's called. So, that whatever that internet is, because I'm sure someone's going to say it in the chat, it's the best level like an internet you can get, right? But I can't remember exactly what it's called. They have that, like, in downtown Seattle and around their university and stuff like that. You can get that internet. Google Fiber, exactly. Like, basically, whatever that high-end internet is, you can get it, but no one around here is getting it, and here's why. Because it costs too much money to lay out the infrastructure for it. So they're only going to put it in places where they absolutely need it, right? So they're going to put it at a university. They're going to put it at a hospital. They're going to put it at a place where they have tremendous amounts of data that they need to be doing in a short period of time. But that's never going to come here to my residential area. It's just never going to. The cost is so ginormous that what would happen is they'd say, oh, well, we'll offer it, but because it costs us so much money to roll out the infrastructure, it's $500 a month. And people, no one's going to pay that, you know? So residentially, you're never going to see Google Fiber or anything like that, okay? But anyway, so technically, am I on the same line as everyone else around me that's on the residential internet? Yes. But I don't even have the same service. I'm Comcast Business. Everyone else around here is called Xfinity. I can't even go to, like, Xfinity.com and access my stuff. I'm on a completely different website, a completely different account. Everything's different. Everything's, you know, different hardware. I have completely different modems than anyone else on the residential plans. They get one level of modem. I have a different modem entirely. All right? You know, that's the difference. More speed and unlimited data, meaning no throttling and no issues where I hit a, you know, limit and they're going to complain to me that, you know, you use too much data or anything like that. That's the change. There you go. Fan of Lovecraft, I know. Juan spams this chat every day. He comes in and he says the same stuff and we tell him, you know, and he still does it. The timeout is fine. Don't ban him, but time him out if he keeps doing it. I don't know why he doesn't listen. I should be a priority if I pay more. I am. I told you. They were going to send someone out here yesterday under the premise that I was going to be home, and I told them I'm not home. Yesterday was my day off. I had to go out. I had appointments and everything I had to do. So I couldn't be home for them to send someone right away. They were going to have someone, so they said, okay, well, since, you know, you're not going to be home, we're going to have them come out tomorrow afternoon instead, and that's what's going on right now. I'm just waiting for them to show up whenever, and it really is, again, it's going to depend on what their previous appointment was, right? That's going to determine when they can show up. So we very well could go, my normal time here is usually we go till around like 12:45 and I take a break and we'll start gameplay at 1. But this tech might not be here till 2 p.m. You know? And there's nothing I can do about that. So again, what's the point of starting up if this guy's just going to show up? Let's see what happens, all right? Okay. Thank you, Flip the Tree says, just got here, hope everything resolves quickly. Me too. Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. My nose will not stop itching today. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I don't know why. My whole nose is itchy. So it's got to be a million things going on at once here. My nose is itching me like crazy. Have I seen the new RoboCop game and will I play it? Oh, we saw it during the React show last week. And it really doesn't look special to me. It's just basically RoboCop-themed FPS. And it looks like it's very slow-moving, which makes sense because RoboCop is slow. But I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying it doesn't look particularly interesting to me. Will we play it? I don't know. It's not in the schedule, but maybe we could fit it in if people wanted it. I don't know. Thank you all. A lot of people are saying we hope that you get this resolved. I appreciate that. Oh, Felix the Maid says, would you be open for us buying you a free day? Like once in a while someone would tip a certain amount and then you could have, you could just relax with your wife for the day. Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. Yes and no. You know, if we were in the distinct idea that that's what was going to happen. Hold on one second, by the way. No. I heard a truck outside. I was like, could that possibly be them? They didn't call me, but no, it's not them. Okay, here's the thing. All right? No matter what, not working puts me behind. You understand? Like, how can I explain this? As you guys know, I have a certain work ethic. I stream a lot, right? I'm here consistently, correct? A lot of people tell me that I'm one of the more or one of the most dependable, consistent streamers there are. That I have a set schedule. You know what I'm doing during that schedule. A lot of other streamers, they'll turn their stream on. You don't even know what they're doing today. They'll turn their stream on whenever they feel like, without even giving you a heads up of exactly when they're starting. They don't take it seriously or act like professionals. To them, it's just kind of like a hobby or a mess around, right? Yet, here they are, ginormous popular people with millions of viewers and stuff, right? It's pretty crazy. I've never had that mentality. Since the day that I started streaming, I treated it like my job. Because that's exactly what it is, right? Like, I treated it seriously. And because of that, there's been a certain level of expectancy from me. Like, people expecting certain things of me, that I'm going to play a certain amount of gameplay. I'm going to have a certain amount of content. I'm going to be here a certain amount of time. And I really have not veered from that level of content delivery in many, many years, right? I haven't. I mean, there was a time I didn't even have a whole day off. Were you aware of that? There were times when I only had half a day off a week. So I would stream 7 days, and one day I would stream one stream, and then the second half of the day would be to go grocery shopping and do stuff. How crazy was that? That was, I cut back. When Kat moved in with me in 2018, we made a commitment, all right? We made a commitment that we were going to have, no matter what, one day together a week, because that was more important than whatever more benefit I would get from working 7 days a week, you see? So that's why we have the 1 day away as it is. Now, if we were to have a situation where someone say, hey, I would like to donate a certain amount of a tip or whatever it may be, okay? And that would allow you to have an extra day off this week, right? Here's the thing. If that were exactly what happened, then yes, all right? But typically, in a situation like that, here's usually what happens, right? So, all right, so I get a big contribution, and I decide, well, because of that, now I'm going to work less. What ends up happening is, now I work less, now I'm behind. Now because I'm behind, people are upset. Now because people are upset, they don't contribute. You get it? It kind of is cyclical. It's like, you have a level of expectation of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And if I don't live up to it, then people get disappointed. And disappointed people don't tend to have a good time and don't tend to support that person who they're watching. Do you see what I mean? So, if the whole idea was, I'm going to tip Phil a big tip today. And I'm hoping that this tip is going to allow him to not have to work an extra day this week. And so this happens, and I plan it out ahead of time, and we're all of the agreement that this is what it is. And everyone says, yes, this is so you can have an extra day off this week, you deserve it. And everyone's okay with it, then yes, that could happen. But that would have to be something that actually has planning, that we all talk about, we plan, we agree to, so that there's no disappointment, all right? Because typically, here's what I've found. When you get a situation where you get a day where there's great support, what ends up happening is then people look at that situation, because let's be honest here, I don't have a normal following on the internet. I have both a fan base and a hater base, right? There's people who hate watch me and literally track every dollar that I make on a stream. As messed up as that sounds, that's very much the case. So, if I have a day where, oh my God, Phil did really well today. I'm going to throw a number out there. Phil made $500 today, and he typically doesn't do that. You know, in a given day, he would never make that much. It's just a random thing. He made $500 on stream today. That's crazy. What ends up happening is those scumbags will make a series of videos about it. They'll put it everywhere. See, Phil made $500 today. He doesn't need your support because he's rolling in it right now. So what ends up happening is I'll have a really good day, and all of a sudden I'll just happen to notice that over the course of the next week, support's way low. Now, what happened? That'll be the same as saying you own a sandwich shop, and one day you have a rush of customers, and they all come in and buy your sandwiches. Wow, I did so good. For the rest of the week, no one comes into your shop. What happened? Right? I don't know, but that's what happens sometimes. Okay? I'll run a marathon, and the marathon will go really well, and a lot of people will support the marathon, and all of a sudden, the whole rest of the week is slow for support, which is no good. The whole idea is consistency, right? That I come, and I told you my philosophy. Here's my philosophy. If I turn on this stream, and I'm putting out honest content, right? I'm loyal to you guys. I tell you truthful statements about the games I'm playing, so you have a fair representation of what I'm playing on that stream. If I'm having a good time, whether it's enjoying a game because I really like it or just not enjoying it at all because I hate it, but as long as I'm portraying that fairly, I'm not shilling, I'm not lying, I'm not over-exaggerating, but instead I'm giving you a truthful representation of what I feel about the game that's on that stream that day, correct? So as long as I'm doing that, all right, then you guys will enjoy the content. You, in turn, will engage with said content, right? You will enjoy said content, and you will say, man, I like that content, and I want that content to continue. So I am going to, out of the goodness of my own heart, I am going to support that content, whether it would be by watching, by liking, by you leaving comments, a super chat, a super sticker, a super thanks, a membership, a gifted membership, a tip. No matter what it is, that's all the ways that you support my content and keep me going, correct? So, with that being said, that's my philosophy, right? So, if I'm putting out the same content, and it's genuine fun content, and it's useful and educational, and people find value in it, then arguably, what you would think would happen is that every single day, I would have a set amount of consistent support that I can depend on, and would be the same, and I could say, okay, now I can rely on that, and I'm good. And that's literally not what happens. And we've talked about this as well, correct? We have. We have had situations where, again, I have a really good day, and then all of a sudden, for the rest of the week, it's dead. No support. Why? Oh, because your haters made a bunch of videos saying you made $500 today, so now everyone's like, haha, he doesn't need anything. So, now no one came by and supported your stream today. Or everyone withheld because they saw that you had a good day yesterday, and everyone talked about it in hater videos. Like, what? What are you talking about? And the thing is, I don't even know that, because I don't watch that junk. I'm here on my stream putting out my content. That's all I know. I don't watch any other shit around me on the periphery. I only know about it when people come to me and talk to me about it. That's the only time I know. You guys tell me in the chat, or I'll get an email about it. I will never know about their junk unless you guys distinctly tell me what's going on with that junk, okay? So, to me, it sucks because I would love, abso-freaking-lutely, to say, man, if I have a really good day this week, that means I could take a day off, right? But a lot of the times, that's not the case. A lot of the times, I'll have the good day, but then that good day is completely negated by a week after that's slow, so the good day essentially made up for the slowness, and I'm just back to where I normally am. Do you see what I'm saying? I know this is a really long-winded answer, but this is just what I've come to see over time. It's not necessarily always factors that I can control. Me, what can I control? Right here, what's on this stream and the content I put out on the stream. That's it. That's the one factor. I don't control YouTube. I don't control my own internet, as you can see with this Comcast issue. I don't control what people say and do about me. I don't control the hater content around there, the drama that people create artificially on the internet around me that I don't make. I don't have anything to do with any of it. All I can do is control this right here and do my best with what's on my own content stream. You see? And that's my focus. But that's what sucks is that's not all that affects me. Although this is all I can control, this is not all that affects me. There's all this white noise bullshit on the outside of this stream that I can't control my internet. I can't control how YouTube works. I can't control what haters say. I can't. If people would tune out the bullshit, if they would just listen to me and say, listen, if you really like me and my content, here's what you do. Every day you come here, you watch the stream, you talk with me, you enjoy, and you move on with your day, and that's it. You unplug. When this stream is unplugged or the on-demand video is done, you're done. Do not watch any of the periphery shit, and you will enjoy this a lot more. There's so many people that fall down that rabbit hole of bullshit. They listen to all the trash that people say about me and everyone else around me, and they get sucked into that toilet. It's what it is. It's a toilet. And once you get sucked into the toilet, it's hard to get yourself out because it's flushing. You're getting pulled down. You know what I'm saying? And there's really nothing I can do. You might watch my content, all right? And then all of a sudden, 5 related videos show up that are all negative, right? You could literally be watching my marathon stream, and a marathon stream I do well. People, support. And then it goes offline, and here's a detractor video. Phil makes this much money in his stream. He's an e-beggar, blah, blah, blah. What? Wait, I just watched the stream. The stream was good. The stream was entertaining and fun. People supported it. That's a positive. But you spin it as a negative, right? And then you get bombarded with that negative shit. And it's ridiculous that you do. But that's how YouTube works, right? So I get it. That's kind of the nature of the beast. But at the same time, it sucks because, like you just suggested, what if someone contributed a big amount and said, here, take the day off, right? First of all, I wouldn't be able to just take that day off. It would have to be a planned thing, right? Like, okay, if Phil gets a big contribution, everyone agrees that maybe I'll take a day off next week, an extra day off or something like that. But then I literally have to have a week where every other day is a normal day and I'm making a good amount of support and everything every day. It can't be, I have the one good day, but then I have 4 slow days. Well, now I can't take the day off. Do you see? In general, that's how it works, right? So, that's the situation being a content creator of my level. There are many content creators that are bigger than me, or content creators that are seen in a much more favorable, positive light, and they get tons of opportunities that I don't get. They get opportunities for sponsorships, partnerships, paid product placements, referral codes, shill, and those people don't have to work as much as me. They get to take time off. They get to go on travel and do vacations and go on work trips and things like that. I can't do that. I can't. Those days are over. Those days were over 10 years ago. Right? And there's nothing I can do about that. I can't make time rewind. I can't make 10 years of slander go away. All I can do is push forward positively. Right? All those people who get that flexibility are not me because they're not me. Get it? That's why they have that. They can do what they want to do. That amount of control over their work or whatever they do. I don't have that. I literally have to sit here and grind and make the content I do in order to make ends meet. Okay? That's just my reality. And my wife and I have come to terms with that, although we want it to get better. We want to have 2 days off a week because ideally, one day off should be the day where I run errands. Like I go grocery shopping and appointments and all of that. And we should have another day off that we get to spend together as a family, that we could go have fun, go on a nice a date day. Or, hey, we want to do stuff in the house today. We have time to do it. We don't. I'm not kidding you. It took us years to clean out our garage. We just finally cleaned out the garage to the point where I need like one more big clean out trip to maybe the dump. And then the garage will be clean where we can actually like thoroughly redesign and clean it and use it for something. It's been sitting there, right, for years and years and years. And we just don't have time to do anything with it. I've got broken down rooms. I got a whole bathroom that doesn't work. I don't have time to do anything with it or even plan for anything for that. I'm here 6 days a week, So ideally I want things to get better. And by the way, I should say this, that they are moving in the right direction. They are. And if things change in this country, in the economy and stuff, if things had gone a different way and if these last few years there wasn't record high inflation and interest rates going up, I might have been in an even much, much better position to the point where I'd have more money and more flexibility with my life. It's just bad circumstances, things that have happened that are, again, things outside of the realm of my control. This is what I can control, what you see. I can't control the United States of America and interest rates and inflation and internet and trolls and how YouTube works. That's the shit I can't control. All I could control is right here, okay? And that's what I focus on and try to do my best with. So, you know, I absolutely would love to have another day off a week. But even if someone were to step up and say, hey, here's a big contribution, take Friday off, I couldn't guarantee that that would work. You know what I'm saying? We could plan for it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. And that sucks, you know, but that's really out of my control at this point. I received a $50 tip from 1 Minute Man. He says, I hope your tech brings you a new modem. Well, thank you. I don't know if a new modem is necessarily the fix to this problem, because the modem has nothing wrong with it. It seems to be functional. It just is having these issues with connectivity or whatever it may be. And I guess the question is, what is the solution? I don't know. And that's what I mean. Like, me and the tech have to work on this afternoon. And try to get to the bottom of the situation. I said 20 because usually it's 20, but he did 50 today. Thank you, 1 Minute Man. You know, maybe the modem swap would fix the problem. You're right. Maybe a modem swap would fix the problem. But would it prevent the problem from reoccurring when you don't know what the root cause was? Right? That's a whole other issue. Is maybe we'll get everything up and running by the time that this tech is done today. But then what happens if in 2 days the whole thing just happens again? Right? That's what we got to figure out here. So, thank you, 1 Minute Man, very much for the support. Let me get my glasses on. Derek, I'll see you later. Okay. No, I did not play Mario Party 3 on the Switch during my day off. No. Right. Felix the Maid, I hope he appreciated my answer, by the way, Felix the Maid, because that was a very lengthy answer for Felix the Maid there about the whole extra day off thing and everything. You know? That's what sucks, is to not have control over everything in the environment that can affect you. You know? I can only affect a certain amount of things. I can only control a certain amount of things. I wish that I could say, yes, if this happens, then I can do this. I can't even say that. In a lot of ways, it's setting myself up for disaster. Because what if I said, okay, if I raise this much on today's marathon special, I can then take an extra day off in the week, and I raise it, and then the entire rest of the week is dead. I've already promised you guys I'm taking the day off. I can't be here. And now I'm shooting myself in the foot. You see? Anyway. Someone tipped $1 and says CenturyLink fiber can do a gig up down, and Comcast business is a farce. Comcast business is a farce. That's interesting. I can look into it, but when I moved here, CenturyLink was not an option. Like, CenturyLink wasn't available in my area. It was either Comcast or satellite. Back then, the cell phone internet wasn't even good enough. You could get satellite internet with a dish, and that was also very slow. I would have to look into it, but I'm almost positive that CenturyLink does not service my neighborhood. So, I've never seen a CenturyLink truck or anything around here, you know. Okay, it's a troll tip, and this idiot actually thinks I'm going to read it, which of course I'm not. All right. All right, well, guys, it is currently 12:37. It is 12:37, and so far, no updates, okay? No updates about any of this. All right, no calls, nothing. So, with that being said, I think what we should do is let's end the podcast first of all. All right. I have to use the bathroom. I've had to use the bathroom for about an hour. So I think what I should do is let's end the show. Let's take a brief break. It'll only be a few minutes just for me to go use the bathroom. Then we'll come back and we'll hang out for a bit. I don't want to start Alan Wake yet when this tech is supposed to show up within the next hour and a half. So let's take a brief break. I'll use the bathroom. I'll come back and then we'll just hang out for a bit and see what happens. Okay? But I absolutely would like to thank you all for understanding. All right? This is not a fun situation for anyone. I know you guys want the new content. I want to give you the new content. I'm dying to play Alan Wake 2 right now. It's killing me that I can't just boot that game up and play it because of what's going on. But I promise you, I'll do my absolute best to play it today once this is resolved. I thank you for your patience, and hopefully tomorrow we will be able to talk about Alan Wake 2. But in the meantime, I have something very, very important to tell you. Happy Halloween.